Okay, so let's dive in. Today, we're looking at something I think a lot of people really want to know more about. It's basically like, what are the signs, those kind of clues that someone's on the right track to build some serious wealth?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you've probably heard tons of different ideas about this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it can be a bit overwhelming, right?
Oh, really?
So what we're trying to do here is give you something, a little more organized. We've got some really interesting material you sent over, and we're going to use that to kind of pinpoint, like, those habits, the mindset shifts. Like, what are the choices that people consistently make before they start seeing, real financial growth?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not talking about winning the lottery or, like, overnight success stories here.
Right. The sources we're looking at, they're not about those like sudden bursts of luck. It's much more about what people do consistently over time. Those principles they apply day in and day out.
Exactly. It's like a long game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So to give you an idea of what we're going to cover, we're going to look at 10 key indicators.
Okay.
These range from things like developing a growth mindset and understanding why focusing on earning, like really actively earning, is more important than just saving.
Right.
And then we'll talk about investing in yourself. Super important.
Absolutely.
We'll also get into the whole multiple income streams thing.
Yes.
Why that's so important, the smart risks, calculated risks that people take. We can't forget the discipline side of things, right?
Yeah.
Financial discipline. And then, your social circle, believe it or not, that has a huge impact. Having a clear financial plan, like a roadmap, keeping up with learning about money, the whole financial world. And then, really importantly, actually taking action. Not just thinking about it, but doing it.
Love it. That's the key.
Absolutely. We're hoping you'll have some aha moments as we go through all of this.
I think what's really fascinating is, these things don't just exist on their own.
Right.
It's like they all work together. They kind of boost each other.
They feed into each other.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're strong in one area, it helps you in other areas. And that creates like a much more solid path to, actually achieving financial well-being.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The first sign we're going to tackle is cultivating a growth mindset.
Okay.
Our sources, they all really emphasize this core belief that you can grow, you can learn, you can get better at things. It's this idea that you're not stuck where you are.
Right.
It's not just about luck or some talent you're born with.
Yeah, it's not like a fixed thing.
Exactly.
If you think your intelligence or your skills can't change, then, you're not going to put in the effort to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right.
And from what we've seen in the material, it seems like having a growth mindset really builds resilience. And when you hit those bumps in the road, which everyone does, you see them as like learning experiences, not as proof that you're not good enough.
It changes how you see those setbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sources get really specific about what this looks like in real life. It's about embracing challenges, like seeing them as chances to stretch yourself. And when you fail, it's not the end of the world. It's a lesson learned.
Yeah, totally.
And you always got to be curious, how can you improve your skills? How can you understand things better? It's all about moving forward.
That's a very proactive way to approach things.
Absolutely. And when we tie this back to building wealth, it's super clear why it's important.
Right.
To become financially successful, you're going to face obstacles, things are going to change, you'll have to learn new skills. It's a given.
Definitely.
And someone with that growth mindset, they're way better equipped to handle those challenges.
Yeah, they can weather the storm and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly.
I love that.
And if you want to dig deeper into this, our sources actually recommend some great books. There's Mindset by Carol Dweck.
Oh, I have heard of that one.
And then there's The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. They really explore this whole way of thinking.
Yeah, those are classics.
So if this is resonating with you, you should check those out.
Definitely. And, for you, you've always been so interested in learning new things.
True.
And sometimes it can feel like there's just so much information out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I think adopting a growth mindset could really help with that. It's like instead of seeing those challenges as like these huge roadblocks, you see them as like stepping stones. They help you learn and grow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to sign number 2, and this is a big one. Our sources really stress this, focusing on earning.
Okay.
Not just saving, but really putting your energy into earning more.
I see.
And they were very clear that while saving is important, don't get me wrong,
Of course.
it's earning that really builds wealth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So saving is more about making the most of what you have right now, being efficient with your money. But earning is about expanding, growing your income, bringing in more money overall.
Yeah, like creating more opportunities.
Exactly. And the people we've been reading about, those who are successful with their finances, they really prioritize this. They're always looking for ways to generate more income.
That's interesting.
So it's about starting businesses, making smart investments that bring in returns, getting involved in real estate.
I see.
It's about taking control of your financial future.
Yeah. It's proactive.
Absolutely. And there's this one tip in the sources that really stuck with me. It's so simple, but it changes your whole perspective.
What is it?
It's this. Instead of asking yourself, how can I save an extra $100 this month?
Okay.
You ask yourself, how can I earn an extra $1,000 this month?
Oh, wow.
Just changing that question makes you think completely differently. You're not just focused on cutting back, you're focused on creating more.
That's a really powerful shift in mindset.
Right. And for you, someone who loves getting results and doing it quickly,
Yeah.
this whole earning mindset can really speed things up for you.
Definitely.
It's recognizing that your skills, your time, even your knowledge, these are all assets you can use to create value for others, and that translates into earning more.
I like that. It's about creating value.
Absolutely. Okay, sign number 3 takes us to personal growth. And the sources are really clear on this. Consistently investing in yourself. They emphasize that your mind, that's your most valuable asset.
Okay, that makes sense.
And people who are on the path to wealth, they get this. They know how important it is to keep learning, keep developing their skills, keep growing as a person.
It's like that growth mindset in action.
Right, exactly. And the sources give some really concrete examples of how to do this.
Oh, like what?
So making time to read books that'll teach you new things, taking courses to learn skills that'll help you reach your goals, constantly seeking out new information.
Yeah.
But it's also about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
You want to be around successful, motivated people. Go to events that give you new perspectives, where you can meet new people, network.
I see. So it's about the whole environment you create for yourself.
Exactly. And to get you started, the material we've looked at, they actually recommend some specific podcasts and books.
Cool.
So for podcasts, they suggest the Ed Milet Show. Have you heard of that one?
I have, yeah.
And the Tony Robbins podcast. They're both really good for insights on success and achievement.
Yeah, Tony Robbins is pretty well known for that stuff.
And for books, they recommend Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a classic.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
And The Millionaire Fastlane. Both great books on building wealth.
I'll have to check those out.
Definitely. And, for you, you're always so curious. You really like to dig deep into things.
That's true.
This really highlights how crucial continuous learning is.
Yeah.
It's not just some nice-to-have thing. It's directly tied to earning more and building wealth.
Right. The more you learn and the more skills you develop, the more opportunities will come your way.
Yeah.
And you'll be ready for them.
Exactly. So let's move on to sign number 4. And this one's all about having multiple streams of income. The sources really hammered this point home. Relying on just one source of income, it's risky.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't matter how secure it seems right now.
Right.
Things change, and you don't want to be caught off guard.
Makes sense. So having multiple streams is like a safety net.
Exactly. It gives you more financial stability, more resilience.
Got it.
And the sources give some pretty straightforward examples of what this could look like.
Okay.
So you could have your regular job and then some income from a side business.
Right.
Or you could have a business and income from rental properties.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe you invest in the stock market and do some affiliate marketing on the side.
I see.
The point is to have different sources of money flowing in.
Yeah. Diversifying your income.
Right. Exactly. And what's really encouraging is that the sources say you don't have to do this all at once.
Oh, good.
You can start with just one extra income stream, get comfortable with that, and then add more over time.
That sounds much more manageable.
Right. It's about building momentum step by step.
I like that.
And for you, you like to have things under control. You don't like feeling overwhelmed.
That's true.
So starting small and gradually adding more income streams, that could work really well for you.
Yeah, it feels much less daunting that way.
Absolutely. Okay, on to sign number 5. This one's about being okay with taking calculated risks. The sources say that if you want to build serious wealth, You got to step outside your comfort zone a bit.
Okay.
You got to be willing to take some risks.
Right.
Now, I know this is where a lot of people get nervous, and I totally get it. Nobody wants to lose money.
Yeah, that's scary.
But what the sources say is that if you avoid risks completely, you actually end up missing out on a lot of opportunities.
Interesting.
It's the calculated risks, the ones you think through carefully, that can really help you grow financially.
So what are some examples of these smart risks?
So it could be things like investing in the stock market, but doing your research first, or getting into real estate, but only after really looking into the property and the market.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or starting a business, but having a solid plan in place.
Right, so it's not just blindly jumping into things.
Absolutely not. It's about weighing the pros and cons, really thinking it through. And the sources give us a great framework for doing this.
Oh, what is it?
They say you should ask yourself 2 questions. First, what's the worst that could happen if I take this risk?
Okay.
And second, what's the best possible outcome, realistically speaking?
I like that. It forces you to think about both sides.
Exactly. It helps you see things more objectively.
Yeah, that's a really helpful tool.
And for you, you're always looking for those aha moments, those key insights.
Right.
Understanding this whole calculated risk thing can really make a difference in your journey.
It's like a secret weapon.
It kind of is. Okay, sign number 6 brings us to something that's super fundamental. Being disciplined with your money. The sources we've looked at, they're very clear on this. It's not just about how much you earn, it's about how you manage what you have.
Right, it's about being smart with your money.
Exactly, and it's about being intentional with your spending.
Okay.
You could have a great income, but if you don't manage it well, it can disappear pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true. So what does good financial discipline look like?
So the sources talk about a few key things. First, you got to track where your money's going, like actually keep track.
Yeah, okay.
And you need a budget, a real budget that you stick to.
Makes sense.
And then you got to prioritize. It's about choosing investments that will grow your money over spending on things you don't really need, those impulse purchases.
Okay, so delayed gratification, thinking long term.
Exactly. It's about thinking long term.
That's a good point.
And there's a book that our sources recommend that I think is super insightful. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
I've heard of that one.
It really gets into, how our minds work when it comes to money and how we can make better decisions.
Interesting.
So for you, you thrive on structure and order.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Well, financial discipline gives you that. It's like having a clear plan for your money so you're in control.
I like that.
Okay, on to sign number 7. And this one might surprise you. It's about the people you surround yourself with.
Okay.
The sources say that you tend to pick up the habits and mindsets of those you spend the most time with.
Oh, that's interesting.
And this applies to everything, including money.
So if you're around successful people, you're more likely to become successful yourself.
Exactly. Being around people who've already achieved financial success, it exposes you to new ideas, different ways of thinking about money and opportunity.
I see. It can really broaden your perspective.
Absolutely. And the sources give some really practical tips for building this kind of network, surrounding yourself with the right people.
Like what?
So one thing is to join groups where entrepreneurs and business people hang out.
Okay.
You could also actively look for a mentor, someone who's already achieved what you want to achieve.
Right.
And just as important, you got to limit your exposure to negative people, those who bring you down or hold you back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's about creating a positive and supportive environment for yourself.
Absolutely.
And there's this great saying from the sources that really sums it up. Your network is your net worth.
Oh, I like that.
It emphasizes how important those connections are.
Yeah, those relationships can open doors for you, provide support, give you guidance.
Exactly. And for you, you're always interested in different perspectives, hearing different viewpoints.
That's true.
Connecting with successful people, it's like a shortcut. You can learn from their experiences, their successes, and their mistakes.
Yeah, it's like getting insider knowledge.
It really is. Okay, on to sign number 8. This one's about having a clear financial plan.
Okay.
The sources say that people who build wealth, they don't just hope for the best.
Right.
They have a roadmap, a strategy that guides their decisions.
Makes sense. So what does a good financial plan look like?
So first, you got to have clear financial goals.
Okay.
Like, what specific income do you want to reach? What assets do you want to own, like real estate or investments? What does your dream retirement look like?
Right, so you got to paint a clear picture of what you want.
Exactly. Then you need a detailed budget that supports those goals.
Okay.
And then you got to have an investment strategy that aligns with your risk tolerance, how much risk you're comfortable with.
Makes sense.
Are you going to focus on stocks, bonds, real estate, starting a business? It's all got to be part of the plan.
Got it.
And the sources give us a very simple but effective tip.
What's that?
Write down your financial goals. Like, actually write them down.
Yeah.
And then review them regularly, like every month.
Oh, interesting. Why is that so important?
It keeps your goals top of mind. It helps you stay on track, see your progress, and make any adjustments if you need to.
I see.
And for you, someone who loves structure and logic, having a financial plan, it's like having that framework for your aspirations. It takes them from being just ideas to being actionable steps.
Yeah, I like that. It gives you clarity and direction.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to sign number 9. This one's all about continuously learning about money and wealth.
Okay.
The sources we've been looking at, they compare the world of finance to a game. It's a game with its own set of rules, and you gotta learn those rules if you want to win.
That's a good analogy.
Right. And the thing is, those rules, they change. The game evolves. So learning about money, it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process.
Makes sense. So how do we keep up with all that?
Well, the sources recommend a few things.
Okay.
First, reading books about investing and wealth building.
Right.
And then following financial experts. There are a lot of great YouTube channels and podcasts out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And taking online courses that focus on specific areas of finance, like investing in the stock market, budgeting, or creating passive income.
Okay, that sounds pretty comprehensive. But it also sounds like a lot.
I know, it can feel overwhelming. But the sources give us a tip for making it manageable. They say just dedicate 30 minutes a day to learning about money.
Oh, just 30 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment, but even that small amount of time done consistently, it can really add up.
Yeah, that makes it feel a lot more doable.
And for you, someone who's always eager to learn new things, this really emphasizes how important it is to understand the world of finance.
Definitely.
The more you know, the better decisions you can make with your money.
It's about taking control of your financial future.
Exactly. Okay, we're at the last sign, number 10. And the sources themselves say this one might be the most important of all, taking action.
Okay.
It's about actually doing something, not just dreaming about it or planning for it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people get stuck, right?
Exactly. They have the knowledge, they have the plan, but they don't take that next step.
So how do we bridge that gap?
Well, the sources talk about a few things. First, don't wait for the perfect time.
Okay.
It doesn't exist. You just got to start. And it doesn't have to be some huge leap. It can be small steps, but consistent steps every day moving towards your goals.
Makes sense.
And the other big thing is changing your perspective on failure.
Oh, how so?
Don't see it as the opposite of success. See it as part of the process.
Right. It's a learning experience.
Exactly. You learn from your mistakes and you get better.
I like that.
And the sources leave us with this very powerful, very actionable piece of advice.
What is it?
They say, right now, after listening to this, write down one concrete action you can take today to get closer to your financial goals.
Okay, so no more procrastinating.
Exactly. Break those big goals down into smaller steps and start taking action now. And the sources really drive this home with a great quote. Success isn't about having the perfect idea, it's about consistent and effective execution.
Powerful words.
Right. So just to recap, we've gone through 10 signs from our sources that suggest someone's on the right track to build wealth.
Okay, let's hear them.
A growth mindset, focusing on earning, investing in yourself, building multiple income streams, taking calculated risks, being financially disciplined, surrounding yourself with successful people, having a clear financial plan, continuously learning about money and taking action.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is. And what's amazing is how interconnected all these things are. It's not enough to just be good at one or two. You got to work on all of them. It's like a holistic approach to your finances and your personal development.
Yeah, I see that.
So if you're listening to this, I want you to really think about these 10 signs. How many of them do you already embody? What are your strengths and where do you see room for improvement?
Yeah, that's a good question for everyone to consider.
Absolutely. And remember what we talked about, taking action. Right.
So here's a challenge for you. What's one small, concrete step you can take in the next few days, maybe even today, that'll move you closer to your financial goals?
Yeah, what's that one thing you can do right now to make a difference?
It's a powerful question, and I hope it inspires you to take action. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope it's given you some valuable insights and things to think about.
It's been a pleasure.
Always great chatting with you.
Likewise.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
That's good.
Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking action.